Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we are going to be looking at Google's Gemini.
Ooh, exciting.
I know, right?
Mhm.
Specifically, we're going to be looking at how it's going to change how we interact with our smart homes.
Yeah. It's really interesting how fast all this AI stuff is developing.
I know, it feels like just the other day we were all amazed by like the first voice assistants,
Right.
and now we're talking about AI that can basically run our entire homes for us.
Crazy.
And we've been looking at all these articles about it, and
Yeah.
it's not just turning the lights on and off anymore.
It's a lot more than that.
So get ready for three key takeaways that really kind of blew my mind.
Okay, lay it on me.
So first, Gemini is going to make controlling your smart home like as easy as talking to a friend.
Oh, wow.
So like forget about all those like specific commands,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Second, it can handle multiple devices like all at the same time.
Oh, wow.
So think like setting up a whole routine
Okay.
with just one phrase. And then third, Google's taking a really interesting approach to security,
Okay.
especially for sensitive devices like locks and cameras.
Yeah, for sure. That's something we should definitely look into.
Absolutely. So, okay, first things first for anyone who isn't already familiar.
Yeah.
Gemini is basically Google's answer to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It's a generative AI, which means it can like learn and adapt to what you like.
Uh-huh.
And it's designed to work really smoothly with Google Home.
Okay.
So think of it like a super powerful brain
Okay.
for your smart home.
Gotcha.
And one of the things that really struck me when I was reading all this stuff was how much all these articles talk about like contextual understanding.
Yeah.
So it's not just recognizing keywords anymore.
Right.
Gemini is actually like figuring out the meaning behind what you're saying.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so like Tech Radar had this example where you could just say,
Yeah.
it's too bright in here.
Huh?
And Gemini would just dim the lights.
Automatically.
Yeah, you wouldn't even have to say which lights are in here.
Yeah. Wow. That's a big step forward.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like older voice assistants,
People-
they felt so robotic you had to say exactly the right thing.
Yeah.
And they still got it wrong half the time.
Exactly. And with Gemini, it's more like you're having an actual conversation.
Right.
It's like finally our homes are catching up to all those like sci-fi
I
movies
know.
that we've seen.
Well, maybe not teleportation yet,
Uh-huh. Yeah, not quite there yet.
but it's getting pretty close.
Yeah, the stuff they're doing with natural language processing is really impressive.
Uh-huh.
And it's not just like those simple requests either.
Right.
9 to 5, Google had these examples where Gemini can handle like really complex instructions.
Oh, wow. Like what?
Like imagine saying something like, turn on all the living room lights except the one by the armchair.
Okay.
And then you decide, actually, turn on the armchair light too, but dim the kitchen lamp.
Wow.
Like Gemini can keep up with all those multi-step commands.
That's amazing.
And that's where this whole generative AI really shines.
Right.
It's not just following some pre-programmed script.
Yeah.
It's actually learning from you
Uh-huh.
and getting more intuitive over time,
Yeah, it's so cool.
which I guess is cool,
Yeah.
but also kind of a little creepy, right?
Yeah, like how much control are we giving up?
Exactly.
That's a good question.
And that's why these security things are so important.
For sure.
One of the sources, Technology News, said that Gemini won't directly control devices that need a PIN code,
Okay.
like smart locks or security cameras.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so you can't just be like, hey, Gemini, unlock the front door.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah,
Yeah, imagine if someone hacked in or something.
exactly. Google's definitely thought about those risks.
Yeah.
Instead of giving Gemini direct control for those things,
No.
it'll send you to the Google Home app,
Okay.
where you can use your fingerprint or whatever to make sure it's really you.
Gotcha. So it's like a safety net.
Exactly. Even though AI is getting super smart,
Right.
there's still some things that need a human
Yeah,
to make the final call.
for sure. So we've talked about all the cool things Gemini can do,
Yeah.
but I bet you're wondering how it actually works.
Yeah, totally. Like, is there some kind of magic going on?
Haha. Not quite magic, but it is pretty clever.
Okay.
One of the articles we looked at from CE Pro, I think it gets kind of into the technical stuff.
Okay.
Apparently, Google's making this like special thing for the Gemini app
Okay.
that's specifically designed to work with all your Google Home devices.
Oh, so it's like a bridge or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a bridge between the AI brain of Gemini and all your smart home gadgets.
Okay, that makes sense.
And this bridge uses your home's Wi-Fi to talk to everything.
Oh, so it's using the same Wi-Fi that I use for like
Yeah,
Netflix and stuff.
exactly. But instead of streaming movies,
Right.
it's sending instructions to your thermostat or your lights.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Remember how we were talking about natural language processing?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, that's how Gemini actually figures out what you want it to do.
I'm still a little fuzzy on that part.
Okay, so think of it like this.
Okay.
When you're talking to a friend, you don't have to use perfect grammar
Right.
or like big fancy words.
Yeah.
They just get what you're saying because of like the context and your tone of voice.
Uh-huh.
Gemini's designed to do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not just listening for keywords,
Mm.
it's analyzing the whole meaning.
So like if I say, I'm feeling a little chilly,
Exactly.
it'll know to turn up the heat.
Yeah, it'll be like, oh, they're cold, better warm up the house.
Wow, that's way smarter than those old voice assistants.
I know, right? Those things could barely understand anything.
Yeah, you had to like talk to them in this robotic voice.
Right,
It's
exactly.
full frustrating.
This is like having an actual conversation.
Yeah, finally.
And just like in a conversation, Gemini's always learning and getting better.
So like the more I use it, the more it gets me.
Exactly. It's all about making technology more personal.
Okay, that makes sense.
But what about those times when Gemini can't do something directly?
Oh yeah, like unlocking the door.
Yeah, we talked about how it sends you to the Google Home app for that.
Right. Can you walk us through how that actually works?
Yeah. So let's say you're coming home with your hands full of groceries.
Okay.
You don't want to fumble for your keys, so you tell Gemini to unlock the door.
Yeah.
But because that's like a security thing,
Uh-huh.
Gemini won't do it itself.
Right, like anyone could just yell at my house to unlock the door.
Exactly. So instead, it opens up the Google Home app on your phone,
Okay.
and then you can use your fingerprint or your PN to unlock it.
Oh, so it's still secure?
Yeah, it's like a double check to make sure it's really you.
That's a good system.
Right. It's smooth, but also safe.
Okay. That makes me feel better about the whole security thing.
Good.
But there's one more thing I'm curious about.
Yeah. What's that?
All these articles keep talking about Gemini extensions.
Oh, yeah.
What are those?
This is where things get really exciting.
Okay, tell me more.
Think of them like power-ups for your Gemini.
Okay.
They let Gemini connect to all sorts of other apps and stuff.
So it's not just my smart home anymore.
Right. It can do so much more.
Like what?
Well, for example, Sam Mobile talked about extensions for things like your calendar,
Oh, wow.
your clock notes reminders.
So I could be like, hey, Gemini, add this to my calendar.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
And it's only going to get better as more people make extensions.
Wow.
Gemini could become like the control center for your entire life.
That's a little scary.
I know, right? It's a big leap from just dimming the lights.
Yeah, it makes you think about, like, privacy and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. If Gemini has access to all that information,
Uh-huh.
how do we know it's safe?
That's a great question, and it's
Mm.
something we're going to dig into in part 3 of our deep dive, so stay tuned. All right, so we've talked about how amazing Gemini is going to be for our smart homes.
Yeah, all the cool stuff it can do.
But now let's talk about the big question,
Yeah,
privacy.
definitely got to address that.
Anytime you've got AI that's like really plugged into your life,
Especially in your home.
yeah, you got to think about privacy.
Absolutely.
So let's dive in. What are like the things we should be worried about?
Well, one thing that comes up in a lot of these articles
Yeah.
is just how much information Gemini needs to work.
Yeah.
It's always learning about what you do. You know, like
Uh-huh.
when you turn on lights, what temperature you, like even what music you listen to.
Yeah, it's basically building a profile of me, right?
Kinda, yeah.
That feels a little creepy.
I get it, but we're already giving Google tons of data.
Right through our phones and everything.
Yeah, our searches, where we go.
True. But it feels different when it's my house.
Yeah, like your house is spying on you.
Exactly.
It's definitely weird to think about.
Yeah.
But the good news is Google's been pretty open about what they're doing with the data.
Okay.
They say it's just to make Gemini work better and more personal.
So they're not selling it to like advertisers or anything.
Not according to them, but you should always double check your privacy settings.
Yeah, good point.
You have a lot of control over what you share.
Okay. Good to know, but data collection isn't the only thing, right?
Right. What about security breaches?
Yeah, like what if someone hacks into Gemini?
Yeah, could they control my whole house?
Exactly. That's scary.
Google says they've got all these layers of security.
Okay.
Everything's encrypted, so it's really hard to hack.
That's good.
But what about when Gemini sends you to the Google Home app for those sensitive things?
Yeah, is that connection safe?
It's supposed to be they use encryption for that, too.
Okay, so no one can steal my PIN code.
Right, exactly.
That makes me feel a little better.
Good. It sounds like they're really trying to make it both convenient and safe.
Right. Finding that balance is key.
Yeah, and remember, this is all still new.
Uh-huh.
So as more people use Gemini, they'll find ways to make it even safer.
So it's a trade-off, right? We get all this convenience,
Yeah.
but we have to be careful about our privacy.
Exactly. You got to be smart about how you use it.
Well, this whole deep dive into Gemini has been a wild ride.
I know, right?
It's so cool to see what AI can do,
Yeah.
but it definitely makes you think about the future.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where it all goes.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We hope you learned a lot about Gemini and all the possibilities.
Yeah, and the risks.
Right. Always be careful out there, but keep exploring.
Yeah, tech is awesome.
Until next time.
See ya.